We go now to the view from the sunny southeast. Deputy Verona Murphy, please.
I think it's sunny everywhere today except the Dáil, Ceann Corla. Thank you. Taoiseach, I got a very disturbing email yesterday. It was photographs of a queue in Dover. Apparently Dover Port had instituted migrant checks, in which case it took 3 hours for the commercial traffic to travel 1.8 kilometres. And that's without Brexit even being 4 months away. But Taoiseach, we know from the last 2 weeks that the UK intends to introduce and has introduced the Internal Market Bill, which by their own admission breaches Article 4 of the Withdrawal Agreement, an international treaty, and in so doing it will breach the UK government's international obligations. It is their intention to breach an international treaty in order to safeguard national interests of the UK, and they've admitted this to the entire world. So it's a fact that the UK's reputation to deal in good faith is being irreparably damaged worldwide, and it doesn't appear to be taking a feather out of them. With this in mind, there is a grave concern that the UK will also renege on the land bridge, the transit arrangement. And there's no guarantee that the UK will honour their agreement under the Common Transit Convention that allows the transit of Irish trucks carrying valuable Irish exports through the network of UK roads and ports to mainland Europe. Over 150,000 trucks leave and arrive into Dublin and Rosslare Europort using the land bridge annually, with an estimated trade value in excess of 18 billion. A significant amount are carrying fresh produce like beef and lamb from Wexford factories such as Slaney Meats in Clahaman, Irish Country Meats in Camolan and Kavanagh Meats in Enniscorthy. 3 factories, 1,100 employees, not including farmers, not including hauliers or service providers, and only a portion of those who have been in touch with me have a very heightened concern that the UK's actions could signal the end of the land bridge and the transit arrangement. So, Taoiseach, if you can tell the House if the transit arrangement, 1, is in fact agreed as part of the withdrawal agreement, and what preparations government have in place to safeguard Irish exports, jobs and businesses if the UK were to renege on the Common Transit Convention and prevent Irish trucks from using the land bridge. Thank you.
Thank the Deputy for raising this very important and pertinent issue. Because maintaining the UK land bridge as an effective route to the UK market has been a key priority of our government's Brexit planning. The Irish Marine Development Office estimates that there's approximately 150,000 land bridge movements annually, with an estimated value of this trade of about 18.2 billion. So it's very important. And as you have outlined, many of these goods are agri-food goods, such as fresh fish, with a short shelf life, which makes the land bridge particularly valuable and important and only viable route or the most viable route to market for many of those type of goods. Now, the UK's accession to the Common Transit Convention is welcome, and I take the point, just for general knowledge, that allows European Union goods to move under transit through the United Kingdom without undergoing full customs import and export formalities on entry and exit. So we have engaged in substantial talks and at official level and political level across the European Union to ensure that European Union goods moving under transit via the land bridge are not subject to additional and unnecessary checks and controls. And we've worked closely, particularly with our French, German, Dutch and Belgian counterparts to understand each other's operations and plans post-transition. I think you raised a question essentially about the UK's, the UK's commitment to this, given the decision of the British government to bring in the Internal Competition Bill, which runs counter and represents a disavowal of the Withdrawal Treaty, which is an international binding treaty, and the Northern Ireland protocol. We have been, and I've spoken to the British Prime Minister, pointing out in no uncertain terms how this is unacceptable and how it does breach an international treaty and raises issues about the UK government's commitment to any further agreements or that might be arrived at. We're working with our EU colleagues in this regard. yes, but come back to that. But I just want to say, in the context of that, we get no sense from the UK government that there is in any way going to be any sort of undermining of such trade. They're still adamant that they want a comprehensive free trade agreement and they don't want disruption. And we've had no indication whatsoever of any negativity around the land bridge or any attempts to undermine Ireland's, the importance of the land bridge to Ireland's exports to the main market. In terms of capacity, those in the sector and in the department responsible are of a view that we have sufficient capacity to deal with this. But obviously this is something we have to continually monitor. There is significant investment, as you know, going into Rosslare Port, quite significant investment in terms of the 30 million plan, and also in terms of the Brexit, the 10-acre site that was bought, acquired and developed to provide inspection facilities and so forth.
Deputy Murphy.
I didn't hear the provisions, and I understand the capacity, albeit that currently it's on the UK side. It should be diverted as a provision in the event that the UK carry on the way they did in the last week and renege on the Common Transit Convention. The Convention itself means that businesses have to actually put financial guarantees in place just for the privilege of crossing the UK. And if it took 1.8 hours yesterday, or sorry, 1.8 kilometres took 3 hours to travel, that's effectively, the driver's regulation is kaput. The land bridge is defunct. I'm asking you, if to safeguard 18 billion in trade, why have we not invested the necessary 100 or 150 million in Rosslare to put direct ferry services in, build the port of the future for the most strategic port in the country that gets the goods to mainland Europe, that would circumvent that 3-hour delay? It would actually mean that the drivers have certainty with their planning. They must plan from the time they leave any of those meat factories, any fish and port. They have to plan every minute and hour of their day because of driving regulations. They have a 15-hour period in which to start driving and finish. 15 hours. And yesterday, the 3-hour delay meant that they spent 9 or 10 hours in the UK extra. Now, that is what's putting the trade, the jobs, and it's not supporting businesses. You're putting them at risk, not making the provision to have a daily service. We're putting ourselves in the hands of the UK, where they can pull the rug out from under us and say, you're not going to be able to use the land bridge. I'm asking you to make the provision for direct daily services immediately.
But you know, and we've discussed Rosslare Port, and you know there are issues in terms of its capacity to move very quickly or immediately on 150 million. Already, its planning application has been lodged with Wexford County Council in terms of the master plan, or the plan which is about over 30 million of an investment in customer facilities, port infrastructure, assets and new technology by the Port Authority. And there will be further resources under the Brexit plan. And as far as we're concerned, you know, whatever it takes will be undertaken. In relation to the capacity that's required. But sorry, the government will do what's required in terms of our export trade, but we need to get what's already planned and initiated. We need to get that done and delivered. And there are issues in terms of on the ground there to get the things moving. And the planning application has just been lodged. You know? But you just don't do it overnight, you know. But I take on board this one.
Deputy Michael.